started off just wanting to write for us and tell our stories and realizing, like, where I grew up in Chicago, we had so many characters in our neighborhood. And so I would literally recreate the characters that we had in our neighborhood. And my mom would be like, "You're too good at impressions. Like, how are you doing this?" And so I think just being able to encapsulate who we are and the strength and the empowerment that we have as people is everything in my work and the way that I choose to move forward.
Who do we have here today?
Deja Anderson Ross.
Nice to meet you. So, Deja, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm an actor, writer, producer, and currently going into branded content. So yeah.
Wow, that's a lot.
And podcasts.
Oh, and podcasts. Wow. So, what came first? The acting, the producing? Like, tell us a little bit more.
The acting. I think I've naturally just kind of like had a pull towards the stage and towards film. I would make my family sit down and I would perform for them. I'm like, y'all have to watch this. So yeah, that came first, and then eventually like the producing came later once I realized that you do have to be a multi-hyphenate and you do have to have other skills in this industry to make your own content.
Oh, yeah, no, I totally agree. So what made you pivot? Like, what was that one thing that, like, led you to producing?
I think, honestly, I was inspired by Insecure. Of course, we all love Issa Rae. We all love Quinta Brunson. So seeing the work that she put out and what she was able to achieve with a small budget, it just kind of kicked things off for me. And I just started, like, writing and figuring out how can I put the pieces together myself.
Wow, okay, so speaking of a small budget, have you worked with a small budget in your... Oh, tell us a little bit more about that, and how did you navigate that? Because I know as creatives, we want to have a lot of funding for our projects because sometimes we're like, okay, we want this and that, but it's a work in progress and you don't always have the funding up front. So can you give us a little insight of how you actually was able to manage a smaller budget?
Yeah, I think honestly it's just finding the people that were in alignment with the things that I wanted to do as well. Of course, you want to pay people, you want to be able to have the means to do that, but also it's about the end goal, right? We all want to be creatives and we all want to put together a film. So then you find those like-minded individuals that want to do the same. And so you guys kind of just come together and say, all right, we don't have money for this thing, but I have this like lamp, or you can use my apartment. I have this like outfit that you can use. So it's like you're just pulling together your resources.
Yes, so a lot of that is community building, but then also like team building. So how would you say you go about team building? Because especially when you don't have the funding, you can't just like put a application out there and say, okay, here's an application, I'm open for, applicants. You actually have to vet people. You have to see like what they're about. So how do you go about that?
I think the great thing is social media, honestly, is seeing what people are putting out there and like honestly just having a cell phone and taking pictures and being like, oh, I like the way that this person frames their photos, and being like, oh, could you come onto my set and take pictures for me? Or I see that you're really good at doing videos on your page. Are you able to come in and do this for me? So it's really just about using just what's around you, and that's great that we have social media that you can do that.
Yeah, no, I agree, because sometimes people don't realize that your social media could be your business card or your portfolio. Mm-hmm. And so I love that you mentioned that, because as we enter into this new era, I would say, of social media, because, with everything with TikTok going on, it is going to be a little bit more challenging. A lot more people are a little skeptical about how those things are going to operate in the future. What is your take on the future of social platforms and things of that nature?
I think it's just going to continue to develop. Of course, as we know, every day there's new apps for things. There's AI, there's all these resources coming out. I will hope it's for the better, that we'll continue to fight back against AI becoming this thing that's controlling creatives and that we lose our agency. I will hope that it's something that we could collaborate with and we can learn how to grow with it, because the world is going to change whether we want it to or not. So I hope it can just continue to be a thing that we can utilize.
I agree. And so speaking of AI, what is your thoughts on, I know you mentioned collaborating while using AI. Are there any tools that you currently use that are AI based that help you with your creativity?
I know that there is Gemini. Google has their own AI tool, which I've kind of used a little bit more frequently than the other ones. I know there are some other platforms. There's I think it's called iPick, which is also really great. Like if you're an art director and you're looking for resources to try to help build a portfolio. Yeah, so I would definitely say like starting with Google. I mean, we use Google for everything, honestly, and that's not sponsored. I mean, if y'all want to sponsor, not yet, exactly. Yeah, so that's kind of just like a jumping off point for me.
Okay, great. So we're here at CultureCon, and there's a lot of culture around us each and every day, but especially here. So how would you say that culture impacts your creativity?
Ooh, I think it impacts everything that I do. I think I started off just wanting to write for us and tell our stories and realizing, like where I grew up in Chicago, we had so many characters in our neighborhood. And so I would literally recreate the characters that we had in our neighborhood. And my mom would be like, "You're too good at impressions. Like, how are you doing this?" And so I think just being able to encapsulate who we are and the strength and the empowerment that we have as people is everything in my work and the way that I choose to move forward.
Ooh, I love that. So tell us, like, plug yourself in. What is it that you've written? Give us the 411.
Yeah, so I just recently had an episode of Law and Order drop. So Law and Order Organized Crime, and I am blanking on the season and the episode. But I think the episode is called Red, White, and Blue, if I'm not mistaken. But you can also look me up on IMDb Pro, find all of the shows that I've done. I recently had an episode of FBI come out as well. So all of that stuff should be on there. You can follow me on Instagram at Deja A. Ross. I also have my podcast, so you can follow me at Crafted and Creative Podcast. Yeah.
Ooh, I would love to be on Crafted and Creative. You said Crafted and Creative, right? Okay, that sounds great. Can you give us a little bit more about like what that's actually about?
Yeah, so it's pretty much just giving a voice to creatives in the industry that hasn't necessarily gotten their claim to fame, right? Like there's so many people, so many talented actors and producers and directors and so many career lanes that have done this for such a long time, but of course hasn't gotten that award. So it's just a giving flowers to those people that have been in this industry and they have so much to offer, as much as Denzel Washington or Viola Davis. Of course, they are greats, but there's a lot of people that can offer a lot.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel like, sometimes we don't realize that like we miss out on giving those people flowers or just like looking at someone and saying, hey, like, you know what, they actually do inspire me. I think inspiration comes from all different areas and walks of life. And so one question I have for you is, what's one unexpected source of inspiration that you have found?
Unexpected source of information that I found? Inspiration, sorry. Don't compare yourself. I know that's not necessarily unexpected, but it's so easy to do in this industry if you're not careful. It's so easy to look to see like, oh, well, this person's booked that. Well, what's wrong with me? Why didn't I book that role? Or this person got this opportunity and I've been at it for so long, and it's so easy to go down that like mental road, but honestly, I think that's something that's always coming back to me is just don't compare yourself.
I love it. I love it. Last question. What was your intention for coming to CultureCon?
My intention was to come and to get inspiration, honestly, is to see the amazing speakers that we've had and the careers that they've gotten a chance to do and like figure out what can I do later in 10 years, like watching Taraji and being like, oh, that's where I want to be in the next 10, 20, 15 years. And like, yeah, so really grab inspiration from everyone here, honestly.
Oh, perfect. I love that. Thank you so much, Deja.
Thank you. It was fun.
Yes, it was. Thank you.
No, thank you.